Hey, good morning. It is day 2 of Templecon. It's still early. We're here having breakfast. And of course, it's still here with Tim and BJ. So, you guys went to go see 2 concerts yesterday. What were those?
The first one was May O'Hara, and the second one was Voltaire.
So, May O'Hara, I got the impression last night that it wasn't great.
No.
Part of it might have been the room, because the room is kind of awful for concerts.
Okay.
She was a great violinist, but not a really great singer. And it was just kind of awkward.
Oh, okay.
Because she would play the violin and over what sounded like dubstep or techno music.
Yeah.
And then when she started singing, it was just like, okay,
Very
I'm not sure if I
whiny.
want to be here anymore. It was very whiny.
Oh, okay. But Voltaire was good, though.
It was awesome.
Voltaire is really fun.
So who or what is Voltaire?
You could probably describe it a little bit better.
He is a music artist who tends to sing about a lot of basically nerdy stuff, role-playing, gaming, mostly like Star Trek and Star Wars stuff. He is also, I think they mentioned that he was a author too, and an artist.
Yeah, I think he does his own comic book series.
Right.
But he does a wide range of different music, from folk type things to country to very strange rock amalgamations of weird stuff.
That's a long sentence.
Yeah.
But that was good?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was very good. It was a lot of fun.
He's very
Awesome.
raunchy, but very funny.
And super duper like charming, and the pirate outfit he was wearing certainly added to that, I think.
Was that the only concert of his at the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's leaving for California today, apparently.
All right. So the other interesting event, at least for this morning, was the fact that there was a fire alarm at, what time was it?
5:30.
Yeah, sometime between 5 and 5:30. So we didn't get all the sleep we kind of wanted to get, which is really annoying. But there was no fire. It was just an alarm. A really, really loud alarm. But yeah, so we're going to get ready, and at some point in the near future, we're going to head out. So I'm currently in the process of looking over this footage, and I'm realizing that a lot of it, there's music in the background that I can't really play, so I figure I'll narrate a bit. So we started out our day in the arcade playing, some of the cool games that are there. There are a lot of cool games, and it's all free. You can just play the games whenever you want. What's nice about that is that if you're ever at a moment where you feel like, I'm not sure what I want to do right now, or I have time to wait before this thing happens that I want to do, you can just go play video games, and it's really, really fun. It was nice. It was sort of a nice place to kind of regroup and decide what you were going to do next. The gaming space that had the Flames of War tables was starting to fill up at this point, and it would fill up more over the course of the day, until this whole area was just packed with people. So it's kind of, in a way, it was a little odd that Flames of War was so well represented.
That's right, we'll just do a walkthrough. So yeah, he gets there. Yeah, they both get there. actually kind of nice. It's steady. It's like a steady cam.
So then there was the obligatory Privateer Press booth shot. And of course, War Machine again, very, very well represented at the show. I mean, it's clear that this is really one of the major focuses of the show. There's so much excitement and so many cool tables. It was tough because I wanted to be able to take a look at the cool minis and the cool terrain, but these guys are in the middle of a tournament, so it was really hard to do that without being disruptive to what was going on. So I kind of just had to sort of poke my camera in periodically and then move it back out again. The nice thing though is I had my monopod with me, so every now and then I would just stick it in and hold it up over the table so you could kind of get a look at what was going on. But really, I didn't want to interrupt these guys. And this is one of the vending areas. One of my problems with the show is that the vendor areas are kind of broken up over a number of different areas, and so you're not quite sure when you're seeing or when you have seen everything. This area at least has very, everybody's open at the same time and everything is very consistent in terms of hours, but there was another area that is really just rooms that are being taken up by the people who are vending, and they can kind of open and close as they please, so you're never quite sure if you're seeing everything that you're supposed to be seeing. And I know that there was some more booths moving in even just this evening, so there'll probably be more things going on tomorrow than there were today in terms of vendors. And as you can see, this whole section is very steampunky in terms of the things that you can find to buy. And again, no, that's the theme of the show, so I guess that's to be expected. And so there was a lot of that stuff all over the convention. Tib, of course, was here picking out a pendant pocket watch. So this was a game that we discovered here, and I can't even read this on the screen. You'll be able to see it better than I can, but apparently it's only been around for a couple of years. Sort of seems very skirmishy, very along the same lines as War Machine or Malifaux or Dark Age. These guys were having a good time, but I can't really tell you anything about the game, aside from the fact that it didn't look like it took a lot of minis, as with most skirmish games. And there seemed to be kind of a variation on some historical designs for at least one of the factions. Look very Roman. But still, at this point, know nothing about this game. It's something I'm planning to look up when I get back. So, something else that we did today was a demo of Dark Age, which is a game that I wouldn't say I've necessarily been avoiding it for a long time, but certainly it has never piqued my interest. So I really didn't know anything about it going in, and we decided to demo it because it was just one of the games being demoed regularly at the show. And we'd actually had an issue trying to get in a game of Malifaux. We went down to where they were doing it, and there was only one table for demos, and the guy who was running it at the time just didn't seem happy to be there. And really not the kind of, like, if you were interested in really learning about a game and understanding it and wanting to be excited about it, it didn't seem like the guy you wanted doing that. So we passed on that, and we ended up going back over to the other area and getting this Dark Age demo. And so here's what we thought about that. Okay, just finished up the Dark Age demo, and so what'd you think?
I thought that the game was incredibly simple for what it is, and still a lot of fun to play, and pretty in-depth. Like, the mechanics were nice and quick when we got the game like that. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, the game's been around for a while, and what I don't quite understand is why it doesn't seem more popular overall, because, and maybe it's the setting, it's a little weird. It's a little bit out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, the setting, and of course, Templecon itself boasts itself as a retro-futuristic convention, meaning steampunk and cyberpunk and things like that. And the way that I saw Dark Age kind of fits that descriptor very well, because a lot of it seems very fantasy-oriented, and yet you've got certain guys that have like super high-tech guns and laser beams and things like that.
Right. It sort of looks post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it does look very post-apocalyptic.
I don't know anything about the background still.
Even though it was actually mentioned to us, like what some of the background was, and I got the feeling that it was post-apocalyptic. Hence the name Dark Ages. Is probably why it's called that.
Good point. So, I guess the first thing that we both realized is that it felt a bit like Infinity, but almost like Infinity Light.
Yeah, it's actually...
That's all right, no, go ahead.
So the game uses d20s just like Infinity, and just like Infinity, you're trying to roll under a certain number, equal to or under a certain number. So we were able to take to the game pretty fast using that familiarization.
Yeah, we started asking questions about the rules that clearly the demo guy wasn't prepared to answer immediately, because we were looking at the cards and going, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do?
And after the first turn of the game, both of us fully understood what was going on, aside from those special rules. And we were kind of blazing ahead of what he was doing, and he was trying to do the math for us,
yeah,
which was funny.
Yeah, it really was. It really was funny. And we had a lot of fun. And I was surprised, because Dark Age has kind of been a game that I've been avoiding for a while, and for no good reason, except that I really didn't know anything about it, and nobody else has asked me about it, and I've never painted any menus for it, so like I had no reason to be excited about it.
Right.
But now I am.
Yeah, and what's cool is that the system lends itself to fast play. There's no like, oh, here, let me look up this chart, or let me look this thing up. It's add these two numbers together, roll the die, done, move on to the next thing, continue having fun. Like, it's very...
And at the same time, it didn't feel like it was simplistic. It didn't feel like, oh, well, this is dumb because there's nothing really going on, and I'm rolling the dice pointlessly. And no, it felt like there was a lot of things there that a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of interesting differences between the various, not just the factions, but the individual models.
Yeah.
And what they could do and what you wanted to be doing with them at any given time. So.
Yeah, and aside from like the possibility of terrain rules and maybe cover rules, which is definitely something I like in games to give you a little bit more tactical complexity, I think that overall that game is nice. It's light but in depth, and something that I definitely enjoy playing. And it was fast.
Yeah,
it was pretty fast. I mean, that was what, half hour?
Half hour, and we played a starter game.
Right out of
And we both felt like we knew what we were doing by the end.
Yeah.
Like we could have jumped right into another game and felt really fine about it.
And On top of that, the starter box factions, which is what we played, is not a whole lot less than what the average game is. So you're looking at 8 to 10 models, probably.
That's what he said, and what's really nice about that is that probably more than anything else, that made me go, oh, that's a game I might want to pick up, because I know that there's not a lot of investment in terms of time or money in order to be able to play. And so, like, oh, because right now, the skirmish games are really the things that I want to be playing, and not just because I enjoy those types of rules, but I do, but also because, again, that the fact that there's not a lot I need to do to be ready to play.
Right. And it's nice because, like, even Infinity, which, you know, you're looking at 10 to 12 models per side, takes about 2 hours to play. And this one, you know, just below the size of an average game, we got done in about a half an hour. So you're looking at maybe an hour of playtime per game, if even that. Because, you know, on top of that, the models drop off really fast, so your turns become really quick.
That's true. Well, also, the action point system lends itself well to a quick turn, so that all of your models have a certain number of action points. I think primarily three,
sometimes 4.
You had a couple of guys that had 4, and so, like, you spend 1 action point to get whatever your base move is, and then you'd spend another action point to attack, and then another action point to move again,
or to shoot again, or to aim, or any number of things,
depending on your rate of fire. Again, very straightforward, very easy to understand, but with 3 action points, it's over like really fast.
Yeah,
and then so there's not a lot of waiting.
And of course, the movement and range increments are very small, so it's like 1 action point gets you 3 inches of movement. So it's not like you're even going very far unless you're using your entire turn to do that. So, and that means that you're not having to plan out like long, complicated lines of movement. You're just like, okay, I get to move from here to here really fast because that's all I'm going to be able to get.
Right. Now, the other thing that I think that makes it faster than, say, Infinity, since it's always essentially both players' turns, and there's always that, I'm going to go here, no way, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do here. This is more traditional in that, you know, like, when it's my turn, it is just my turn.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I mean, there could be something that is different from this, but for the most part, it sounds like when it's your turn, you're only doing your own stuff, and the other player is going to wait until it's his turn to do something else.
Yeah.
So it's traditional in that sense, but that also makes the game go fast.
Go by fast, yeah.
So anyway, I think we were both pretty happy with it. Was there anything else you wanted to add, or?
I would like to add that today they were doing a special where if you buy a starter set, you get their rulebook for free. At first, this sounded like a very great thing, and then they mentioned that they have the rulebook online and it's a living rulebook. So anything that they need to update, they just straight up put into the rulebook.
Right. The rulebook also is, and it just occurred to me right now. It's the 2013 rulebook. So we're into 2014, so I'm guessing the rulebook is probably a little out of date at this point.
So it's very probable that that is the first edition of the rulebook, and it's probably still relevant to a point. But at this rate, you might as well just stick with the online one, because it's going to be updated more regularly than a yearly edition rulebook.
But I'm ready to play.
But yeah, so
I'm ready to jump in.
It's a very easy thing to jump into. It's going to be very inexpensive overall.
Yeah, the models just look beautiful.
And the models are really nice.
They're really beautiful. So I'm going to take a look at it. And
I think that's it.
On to our next thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that
is. When we finished up the demo, we had the guy who ran our demos tell us a little bit about the factions, and I think that's how I'm going to close that out here today, is his discussion of those. Tim and I have already ordered starter sets for the game through my store, so hopefully in the very near future we're going to start playing that. So yeah, so we're going to close it out with this, and we'll see. Oh, so next tomorrow I may actually only be spending most of my time in the hotel. I may not have a new video for day 3. And day 4, I will be back at the con for most of the day, but I won't be able to edit the video until the next day at the earliest. So that's it for now.
Going through the factions of Dark Age. These guys are the Templecon. They're like crazy space mines that have a lot of blood magic and constructs.
That sounds awesome.
Cool. They got all these, this giant walking temple.
Okay, that's really cool.
We got big guys with crazy space arcane weapons that are powered by the souls of orphans or some nonsense. They're not good people.
All right.
There's the core. High technology left by the people that fled this world when everything started going to hell. Killer death robots. They do the killer death robot thing. Everyone's pretty familiar with how that goes.
Alright.
We have the start. They're going to be your wasteland cannibals, a lot of psychics, big guys with big weapons, and these are super mutants from Quad, if you remember them.
Yeah.
That's going to be these guys. We have the Brood, or the escaped results of failed military biological experiments.
Awesome.
And they're cool. I like them a lot.
So there's the girls.
So here we have a bunch of the Forsaken. These are the ones you tried in the demo.
Alright.
Forsaken are interesting in that the Forsaken are actually several different factions. Each of the saints, they call themselves, has their own core set of troops that they can build up around and give a different playstyle.
Okay.
And all of them are different. Mark is going to be good at shooting. St. Mary is going to take lots of cheap guys and buffing them up.
And he just happened
You'll have
to be on site.
Luke is all about popping smoke and
So what ended up
having
happening
a grenade launcher.
Alright.
this race,
There's good stuff in the Forsaken.
all of a sudden there's hundreds of these big
Down here you got your Fury.
slave masters.
Giant aliens who were once enslaved by this race of high-tech critters. But when the planet went to hell, the former masters didn't have their tech anymore, and their big slaves came out and just looked out and decided they were in charge. They started a new society in the caves. When humans came, the planet ended again. They came out of the caves, and they're angry.
Awesome.
Yep, there's different factions.
There's 3 different casts of them. There's Geist cast who are all just big and burly and covered in armor. Big weapons, but they're slow. Very slow. The Air cast are all about quick maneuverability, lots of range attacks, and a lot of magic. That's the other thing they have is all of them are really good with their little magic. Space crystal magic.
Right. Alright.
And it's neat. The Flyer cast are the Technogeary. They have guns and force shields, and they almost work like ancient Greeks with phalanx.
Alright.
That's a fire element that I think is so much.
This one actually called phalanx. You can see that's pretty up.
This is some more of the Forsaken.
They have elementals that are really good at just spawning little elementals, giving themselves a blight of wounds, and Firecast are neat. I play Aircast myself. Coming down the line, these are the brand new ones. New Salt Nomads. They're part of the Outcast range. They're kind of basically Kremen from Doom. Okay. Of it all. They live in the worst part of Samaria. They're kind of thriving up there, but the Prevailers, the faction of the Forsaken, have decided to instigate a war between them and a different Outcast sect. So they're coming into the story now and coming out in a big way. They're the first real good guys in the game. Everyone else is some flavor of evil. Down the line, there's more Outcasts, and on this end you can see a bunch of the Slavers.
Okay.
Actually, they're bad Outcasts. A lot of range attacks, a lot of just swarming with light, little nothing troops. But these guys with the improvised looking pole arms, look at the dagger, they're just cheap throwaway troops.
Right.
Good for ganging up. Here we have the Prevailers, who I mentioned. They're part of the Forsaken. They're the people who live in the big city that's the last bastion of civilization, only bastion of civilization on this world. But they're all evil too.
But super high tech, because there's some of the ones that have like some of the bigger guns and power armor.
They're the highest tech faction. We're at the King, so that's what we have for Dark Age.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.